Hey, it's Bruce and Billy with Western Wood. We're here today. We're going to make some pineapple pork burgers and some
bacon cheddar ranch roasted corn.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. All right, well, good. So we're going to get started right now. I got some great pork patties from Compart Farms. You know, it's about about a third of a pound. I'm going to take some of our secret mojo rub here, and I don't know if you can kind of see. It's got salt, pepper, cumin, garlic, onion. It's got some dried citrus peel and stuff like that. It smells really good. It smells like the Caribbean. So that's going to go really well today with some of the things that we're going to put on our pork burger. So I'm just getting a good coating on that. I'm going to just pat that in a little bit.
And there's enough salt and pepper in there. You don't have to put any other seasoning, just the rub.
That's right. Now I'm just going to lay these on our grill, and then I'll season the other side. Now what's important, Billy, with this pineapple pork burger that we're doing, you know, it's kind of inspired when I was growing up. You know, we're deep south here. You know, one of the favorite things that we used to do when I was a kid was we would cook. Well, I'm sorry, we wouldn't cook. We would love anything between white bread with mayonnaise and then the fruit. And sometimes that fruit was pineapple. Sometimes it'd be banana and sometimes tomato, right? So we really enjoyed different kinds of things with pineapple, mayonnaise, white bread, and that was our sandwich. That was our lunch, right? We'd
easy peasy.
Easy to do. And so this has kind of inspired the burger today. And so we're going to do a mojo rub on the pork, right? And then we're going to take a mayonnaise, our Havana Heat, and some of mango pineapple preserves. And we're going to grill off some sliced pineapples. We're going to put that on a bun. It's going to be a great burger.
Yeah, so the pineapple, the mango, the habanero, that's that whole Caribbean flair.
Yep.
So not only are we going Cuban with the rub, the mojo, but we're going to add that habanero in there, which is going to help tie in the entire Caribbean flair there.
And then to actually add into that, we're using some apple chips that we soaked in water a little bit earlier today. So we took these apple chips, right, these smoking chips from Western Wood, soaked them in water for about an hour or so. When I got the coals up at the temperature, I put the chips in, and you can see the kind of smoke that's coming off of it here, right?
Smells so good too.
And some of the other products that you could use, now it's not appropriate for a small grill like we're using here today, but you know, we use a big smoker when we're doing some of our events.
Or a large kettle or something like that.
Yeah, so if you're using a Kamado style, you know, they make these chunks, right? They're a little bit bigger that you could use that add a little more flavor. You don't need to soak these when you use those. You just put them throughout your charcoal. And then when we're using our big smoker, they had these splits, and this is just an apple tree, mini logs that, you know, they kiln dry, right? So it kills all the bugs in it and gets it to a consistent moisture content and cook. And we really enjoy using this on our big offset stick burner. We use a lot of these: cherry, apple, pecan,
if you're going camping and you got a campfire, just throw one of those logs in there, and anything you cook on that campfire, you're gonna get that flavor from Western Wood, whether it's apple, cherry, hickory, mesquite, pecan. So whatever flavor you put on there, it's really great for camping. You only need a couple, and they'll last a long time. They burn really long and really hot. So.
Yep. Well, good. Why don't you get started on the corn for us, and I'll watch the pork burgers for a minute.
So I got 3 ears of corn here. We've already you know, taken the husk off, take the silks off. A lot of times when we're doing like a Mexican street corn kind of thing, we will cook them in the husk. So you'll soak them for a while because we want to keep all that moisture in. This one's a little more hot and fast. So watch yourself, Bruce. Grab a knife here. So I got 3 ears of corn. We're going to cut them in half just because we're doing 5 burgers, so that gives us about 1 per burger. So I'm going to cut the end off because I want to try to keep them pretty close to the same size. So we're going to cook a little more evenly. And depending on, you know, if you can get fresh corn and shuck it yourself, that's what you should do, because if it's that time of year for corn, I tell you, it's going to make a huge difference. There's nothing like roasted sweet corn. And then we're going to kick it up a notch, as they say. Let me throw this away. So what I've got here is about a half a stick of butter, and then I went and got some ranch dressing mix. So you can buy it pre-mixed, just a dry mix. And we took about half of that and put it in with the butter. So it's really kind of hard to see, but you're gonna get all the flavors of the ranch in that butter. Now the butter's gonna do two things. One, it's good, it's butter. It's gonna add flavor to the corn.
Come on, it's like bacon.
That's right.
Butter, bacon.
But it's gonna hold the flavors of that ranch dressing as we put it on the corn, so that when we get it on the grill, it's gonna help just give a good flavor. It's gonna help the char, 'cause we want some really good charred kernels on these ears of corn. So what's gonna go with this after we get it cooked is I'm gonna take the second half of that ranch, and we'll do this a little bit later. I'm actually gonna make the rest of the ranch as a ranch dip. So you can drizzle, or you can dip it, or you can keep it later if you do some chicken wings, whichever one you want to do.
Sounds really good.
So I'm gonna get messy here.
So while you're doing that, Billy, I wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, we talked about having this pineapple sandwich and how it came to be. You know, it's pineapple was it wasn't really one of the prevalent fruits in the South.
Right.
Until about the early 1900s, when Mr. Dole, right, he created a process that took the pineapples, cored it, made it that perfect round shape, and sliced it, and they were able to put it into a can. And when they did that, they could ship it all over the world, right?
Yeah, it's not like Georgia and Alabama and the South had a lot of pineapple plantations around.
Exactly. And so, you know, it became a staple because it was something that could be stored without refrigeration for long periods of time. So it became a staple in a lot of cupboards. And of course, as things got tight, you know, for us throughout the week, you know, waiting on Dad's paycheck, we ate whatever we could. So mayonnaise and pineapple became one of our sandwiches. So I'm gonna
stick these on the grill real quick.
I'm just gonna
which we
flip
should
these over.
Get some good sizzle. We got the grill running. You know, it's pretty hot, so the corn's gonna cook, you know, relatively fast. So this is probably in the 600 range right now, but what we're hoping is that we die down a little bit since we got the top off. And we're just gonna let those cook for a few minutes per side. Like I said, we wanna get some nice charred kernels on there, and when that corn gets done, it's gonna be really sweet, and it's just gonna be very tasty. Yep, let me clean up here so Bruce can get back in here.
All right, so I'm gonna make the mayonnaise spread that we're going to use on our buns. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, you know, your favorite mayonnaise, it's a third, a third, and a third. And for the amount I'm doing about a third of a cup. So I'm going to do a third of a cup of mayonnaise. Love that. Third of a cup of mayonnaise. And then I'm going to take about a third of a cup of our favorite mango habanero type barbecue sauce, right? We want that sweetness, we want that kick. Savannah heat from deep south, about a third of a cup of that. Equal amounts. If you like it a little hotter, you can use a little more. If you don't like it so hot, you don't actually have to use it at all, but I really do enjoy it. And then to kind of really sweeten it up, I found these mango pineapple preserves.
It helps a lot.
It helps.
It adds a real depth of sweetness that cuts that habanero a bit.
That's
Makes it edible for pretty much anybody.
So about a third of that. Look at there. There you go. Thank you, sir. We'll mix that up. Get that nice and blended. I'm just going to put it in this nicer cup. And we'll spread it on our toasted buns here in a second. Now we've chosen a Kaiser roll for this for a little bit later. All right. And we'll toast that off. But any hamburger bun that you like will do. Now I can kind of hear these burgers are getting pretty close to being ready. We like these burgers to be about at 160 to 165 degrees. They'll continue to cook a little bit as they rest. So we're going to want them to rest while we get our buns and everything ready. So just to be safe, I got a good feeling, but just to be safe, we're going to temp it. And yeah, we're all in the 160s on that. That'll be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off and let them rest.
Yeah, they do need to sit for a few minutes because it's going to make them a lot juicier if we do that. About had a party foul over here.
Yeah, don't lose any corn. So I'm just going to stack these up. They'll stay warm, let them rest, let them reabsorb all those juices. And I'm going to take advantage of that rest time. And I'm going to take some pineapple rings I drain the juice off, and for me it's important that these are stored in its own 100% pineapple juice. I don't want a lot of that syrupy, candy, sweet stuff, you know, like some things are. I got
no added sugar. It's got enough sugar in the pineapple.
Right. I got 5 burgers. I'm going to do 5 rings. That one was broken, so that might be we'll just call it a chef's ring.
Getting near the end of
a little later. Right, so I'm going to grill off those 5 rings. And at the same time, I'm going to find some space on here for some buns, because I like to toast the buns. I think it gives them some texture.
Well, one of the things it does when you toast them and then you put a sauce on it, it sort of creates a barrier.
Yeah,
so that the sauce doesn't just go right up into the bread.
Yep.
It gives you that nice little barrier, and the sauce will sit right on the top of that toasted part of the bun.
Yep.
So you get a lot more flavor that way.
Sure will.
So while Bruce is doing that, what I did is I took the rest of that ranch mix. It's pretty straightforward. Just follow the instructions on the little container. But basically, it's a half a bag of the ranch mix, a half a cup of mayo, and a half a cup of milk. Mm-hmm. And you just want to mix it up, and it'll start out a little thin, but as it sits, it'll thicken up and get to that traditional consistency you're used to with ranch. So it's going to take a few minutes of stirring here. So while the corn continues to cook, while you're doing the bread, hey, while that bread's cooking, we talked about the different kinds of wood chunks and chips and mini logs, but how about the flavors? Can you talk about what you use on, you know, pork or chicken or fish?
You bet. So, you know, you can't go wrong with pork with using your fruit woods, right? So just the way it's a personal preference. When I'm doing pork, I like to do apple.
Yeah.
Now, when we do ribs, right? So when we do our pork butts, we'll do mostly apple, use those kind of flavors. When we do our ribs, though, we'll start off with apple in the beginning.
Right.
And then towards the end, we'll put in cherry. Cherry gives it a nice color to it at the end, as well as some flavoring.
There's nothing like the color that cherry wood puts on a piece of meat, whether it's pork or chicken or whatever you got going.
Right, and then when it gets to be about Thanksgiving time, right?
Oh yeah.
And you're pulling out your turkey, I love doing some pecan wood in the smoker.
Pecan and poultry.
Yep.
I mean, being from the South, anybody from the South knows pecan trees. Not pecan trees in the South, it's pecan trees.
Pecan.
So
definitely like that.
Or at least where I grew up, it's pecan.
It's pecan. So, you know, again, there's a bunch of different, you know, do I use oak? Do I use hickory? Do I use mesquite?
Right.
You know, again, these are preferences, and sometimes they're very regional preferences. So for me here in the South, oak is easy for us to get. So we use a lot of oak as our base, and then we use a lot of the Western wood products to flavor the smoke throughout the cook. When we're doing a brisket, I do like using mesquite. It's a big, heavy piece of meat that can take some strong flavors. So I do use
very
like
popular
mesquite.
in Texas too. That's why a lot of people use mesquite.
There we go. Some of this bread's ready to come
with
off.
brisket.
Look at that. So look at that nice toast on the bread.
That's nice.
You know, it just kind of helps stand up to the sauces.
Yeah, so really the flavor of the wood is what you like. When we do in competitions, we'll use some for flavor, we'll use some for color, like we were talking about. The cherry really makes a nice, good mahogany type color, but it's really up to your personal preference.
Right.
As to what you want. So I got one more step in the corn here, and I think this time what I'm gonna do is just sort of lay it on top and let that cheese melt. So I've taken some cheddar cheese, I've taken some bacon bits. For the time purposes here, I use store-bought bacon bits, so nobody don't shoot me, but usually I'll cook my own bacon and cut it up.
You hurt me.
So I'm gonna take a little bit of cheese and bacon, and we're gonna put it on there and let it create a little bit of a crust on top. Now this is gonna get messy on your grill, so make sure you're prepared to do a little cleanup. But I tell you what, it's gonna taste phenomenal.
It's worth it.
And that won't take long if I can get some to stay on there. I think I got a little too much butter on it, so everything's nice and, not that you can have too much butter, but.
So I went ahead and I put that mayonnaise,
God, that smells so good
mayonnaise,
too, man.
Havana heat, and that mango pineapple preserve mixture on our buns, right? Next, I'm gonna take our pork patty and the mojo, right, which is adding some of that, you know, the salt, the pepper, the onion, the garlic, and
the citrus peel
the
in that
citrus peel,
mojo
which will really
rub
go with it.
is just phenomenal as far as
Right.
the depth of flavor we get.
So we got those. The next key piece, right? For me, I like
Gotta have cheese.
I like putting American cheese slices
Yes.
on mine, and I like them up against the burger because I like it to melt a little bit. And of course, you know,
It's
these
been
gloves
melting
on.
out.
It's been melting out here. Now, I'm a 2 slice per burger kind of guy. These are relatively thin. I think you need 2 slices. You know, this is
Yeah, you want to go thin because the thinner you get, I mean, we don't need it like, you know, one-sided, but the
Right.
thinner you can get, the better it's going to melt on there with the heat of the meat below it. so.
Exactly. The other thing is, you'll notice, you know, someone will say, "Oh, well, that's not, you know, the American cheese I'm used to. I'm used to the yellow American cheese." This is the exact same stuff. It just doesn't have the added color, right? So it's the exact same American cheese. It just doesn't have the color additives that makes it yellow.
Right.
Which for me, I'm one of those guys that I like it to be as close to
Natural.
natural as it can get.
Yep.
It's one
I'm with
reason
you.
I love barbecue so much is because sometimes it's just the meat and the fire and the smoke creating the flavors. And of course, you know, we've enhanced it with some of our rubs and sauces, but
Yep.
we try to keep those, you know, the rubs and sauces that we use, we like to keep those as close to natural as we can
Right.
as well. So, you know, we got the cheese on there. I'm going to go ahead and put these grilled pineapples on here as well. How's your
Let's
corn
look at-
melting?
It's. I think we'll leave it. Once you get this done, we'll clean the board up. We'll do the presentation, and then I'll put the corn on there. That way, it gives us as much time as possible to
All right.
cook.
All right. And then just kind of top it with your bun.
I will clean that board up a little bit.
There you go.
If you want to move them to one side, move that piece of
Pineapple.
pineapple.
Would you clean that up a little bit for me? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to move this forward. Get a good presentation here. Perfect.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to take this corn and see if I can get it to, don't block the corn. And this corn is just going to be amazing. Let me grab the ranch.
All right. Oh yeah, the ranch we got to drizzle on.
I'm not going to put much, right? You can put as much as you like as a fan or not a fan of ranch. Just a little bit goes a long way because you really want to get the sweetness and the flavor of this corn. And you've already got the ranch in the butter mixture that we put on it, so you don't have to bury this thing like you would a chicken wing. So.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you know, Billy, we were talking about it as we were coming over here to do this. That this is one of the most
It's one of my favorite things we've ever cooked.
One of the best things we've cooked, and I was looking so forward to trying it.
Yeah.
You know, we've done a lot in the test kitchen and all that.
We're going to try one now,
We're
aren't
going to try one right now.
You want to cut it in quarters? That way we can...
We'll just do it in half here.
do it in half.
And so, you know, what you got is a toasted bun, right? We got the
Oh, that looks
mayonnaise
so good.
mixture on it, the pork, the cheese, the pineapple, and the top bun. And I just, you know, cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Let's see how good this is.
Oh my gosh.
Still my favorite sandwich we've done. It is just, it's got so many levels of flavor. And the applewood,
I mean, I can still taste the applewood smoke in this with all those other flavors. It really complements it.
we got the corn, we got the pork burger. Just use whatever kind of Western wood you want, but put some wood in there, get some extra flavor.
You bet. Hey, thanks a lot for joining us. It's been Bruce and Billy for Western Wood Products. We'll see you next time.
Yep.